Well, hello YouTube. Let's get into this week's update. My goodness me, more selling. We are operating at maximum fear, extreme fear right now. And if we want to get a bit of an idea of where the market is likely to fall to, if we go from the low there in March 2020, before we recovered from the pandemic, with the market at least, we can see that the 2.8% fib is sitting around 3,800 on the SPX. We have had a big bounce, right? A big bounce. I think we're likely to turn around and come back down to that fib. If we break that, obviously down to the 50, right, which is down around 3,500. But I'm expecting a sell-off back down to the 38.2, creating a new low there. That's what I would expect. But after a big move like that, right, the NASDAQ up 3.7%. What a move. Huge move. Russell up 3.17%. Excuse me. Just huge moves, right? So these are very big moves. Anytime you get an index up more than 1%, that's a significant move, right? So we some big moves here, particularly in the NASDAQ. But what the TRIN is telling me with a reading of 0.3 is that we are very overbought, right? This is the most accurate overbought, oversold reading on the market. Far more accurate than RSI, which can remain overbought, oversold for extended periods of time. This happens very quickly, right? So over the next 1 to 3 days, with the TRIN below 0.5, extremely overbought, I would expect a flat to down day from here. So I would expect things to move down as a result of this TRIN reading. So what I would do right now is I'm going to set up a position on the SPY. So I'm going to set up a position here with a put debit spread. I'm only going to risk $40 a contract. Okay, so only risking $40 a contract. I'm going to buy the 397 put, sell the 395 put with a out-of-pocket expense of $79 a contract. I could potentially make $121 a contract or 153% return on risk, and my break even is 396.21. So I need the price of the SPY, the ETF that tracks the largest 500 companies on the US market, to fall below 396.21. Now, if it does, then I'm going to make a very nice return on my risk. Now, I'm going to set my stop at 39 cents, which means I'm only risking $40 a contract to make 121. That is a 3-to-1 risk to reward. That is asymmetrical risk skewed in your favor. That's exactly what you want to see. That's the type of trade that I would like to see with the TRIN at 0.3. You're likely to see the markets move down from here after being severely overbought with that extreme rally that we saw on Friday. You get this in bear markets. You get large rallies in between the markets continuing to sell off. So don't be fooled by that. And, if we look at our opening range, which is 92% accurate, right now we're obviously in bearish opening range mode, right? So we had the breakdown below the first trading day of the month low, and we tried to recover, didn't get above that. I think that'll act as a resistance level and we'll start to sell off again, creating that new low back down to the 38.2% fib level at around 3,800. Okay, so that's what I would assume would happen. Could be wrong. We will wait and see. Now, as far as Bitcoin goes, we are hovering right at 30,000 US a coin right now. I did warn people over and over again, if we do break this trading range, we are going down to 30,000. It's exactly what we saw. In fact, we saw a very large candle that went all the way down to 25,000. So we did see a pretty big move down here. Then buyers stepped back in and drove it back up, sitting right at 30,000. This could very easily be a low. We know this is a result of Luna and the fact with this stable coin that it's attached to and all the Bitcoin that it bought and the peg being attacked, it's lost its peg, it sold $1.5 billion worth of Bitcoin. That obviously has a big impact on what's going on. And obviously it is linked almost perfectly correlated with the NASDAQ, right? The NASDAQ selling off and Bitcoin selling off. NASDAQ has had a bit of a move up, or big move up on Friday. Bitcoin has recovered somewhat as well. We will wait and see if that correlation continues or we start to see things break out with Bitcoin now and it does form a bottom. What did I do when it broke 30,000? I bought more of it. That's what I did. I bought more of it. That's right. Be greedy when others are fearful and fearful when others are greedy. Right now, people are fearful. So that's one thing. Now, the other thing that we've got going on here is MicroStrategy. Now, obviously, MicroStrategy with like 115 odd thousand Bitcoin that they own, they're going to be impacted when Bitcoin drops dramatically like it has. Now, with my calculations that I do, the intrinsic or real value of MicroStrategy was $471 last week. What is it now? Down to 318. So we've agreed to buy this stock at 300 and it's down around 204 right now. So we will end up owning this stock. Some people have spoken about this and said, MicroStrategy, if it gets down to 20, if Bitcoin gets to 21,000, MicroStrategy will be forced to liquidate its Bitcoin and it will be in a lot of trouble. Margin calls and all the rest of it. Rubbish. The stock would have, or Bitcoin, should I say, would have to fall to 3,562 for there to be any sort of margin call. Even if it does go to that price, 3,562 Bitcoin US per coin, it would have other collateral that it could use, but it would have to drop well below 21,000. So that is not true. If it looks like we're going to own the stock, so be it, right? We've still got 33 days to go. We'll see what happens, but no problems with owning the stock down at those levels, right? Cost basis of 283.25, no problems. Sell call options against the stock and generate more income. My long-term prospects for Bitcoin are still very bullish. Even by the end of this year, I do expect it to recover. So that's what's happened there. Now, another trade that we did have on, we've got this one here, right? So Micron. Now, Micron is trading significantly below its real value. So I do all the calculations to work out the intrinsic or real value. Right now, the real value of Micron is $84.08. Right now, trading at $71.92. I'm going to agree to buy it down all the way down at 60. Be very conservative right now with what's going on in the market. So I'm going to sell the 60 put. If I do end up owning it, if it finishes below 60, that's all well and good. I'll own the stock at a cost basis of $58.96, and the real value of the stock is over $84. So I've taken this trade now as well. I like the trade. I like Micron. I'll just show you some of the fundamentals here. Firstly, the next 5 years per annum earnings growth rate is almost 30%. That is fantastic. If we look here at the financials, we can see it has recovered since 2020, where it went backwards. It's actually recovered nicely. And TTT, the trailing 12 months, is up again. So the revenue is increasing very nicely. And free cash flow, how much money does it have left over to pay its after it's paid its obligations? Look at the jump from 2020. And then even in the trailing 12 months, look at that move. So the free cash flow is exploding, looking fantastic. Love the company. It's at a great discounted price. If we look at the return on equity, which acts as a governor for the growth rate of the company and also shows the return that the owners are getting for their investment in the company, that's fantastic, over 20%. It's got a lot more cash than debt. That's a beautiful thing. Institutions own more than 80% of it. Love it, right? If I can pick it up down at $60 any day of the week. Remember, be greedy when others are fearful and fearful when others are greedy. Some stocks that you could look at, some wheat stocks, right? Right now, India bans wheat exports amid soaring global prices. We know that Russia has halted wheat exports as well. So you'd probably more than likely see wheat move higher. What's a way that you could benefit from that, Sean? Well, you could look at this one here. Right? So this one looks as if it is consolidating, it's forming that base, and it looks to me like it wants to continue to move higher here, right? So this is one WEAT that I think could move higher as well. So hope you guys enjoyed that. I will talk to you guys again next week. Let's see if the market turns around, goes down to the 38.2, around 3,800, and then bounces off there or then continues to sell off. The path of least resistance right now in the market is down. So that's more than likely what will happen, but we will see. All right, my friends, talk to you again next week. All the best, and bye for now.